Welcome back to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bay, the number one source for competitive Legends of Runeterra news and information. If you're looking for the best decks to play right now, be sure to check us out on Twitter at Master Runeterra or in our Discord. And if you want to take the next step in leveling up your game, check out our Runeterra team on Patreon, where we do weekly learning calls and one-on-one coaching. Now strap in and grab yourself some Poro snacks, because we are about to start Mastering Runeterra.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bay. We're a little late this week. We had to move a bunch of things around, so this will be coming to you sometime on the weekend, maybe Monday, sort of. We'll see when it comes out. But we will figure out how to, I guess typically we would record them on Thursday. We kind of were both so busy that we just did not have time to slot it in. It kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed. But we're here now. Before we jump into everything, we should thank all of our subscribers, all of our patrons. Thank you guys so much. Seriously, we could not be doing any of this without you. Every one of you, even if you subscribed in the past, like everyone that's contributed, it makes a huge difference. And we have a lot of awesome stuff coming out for you guys. We have our best of 3 ban helper that is finished, and we're just getting it all populated, and the matchup grid to go with that. And let's see, we just launched the meta tier list, and there was one more. What was the fourth?
The meta tier list is good. That was cool.
Is dope. Oh, and I guess the ladder. We also got the ladder going on.
The leaderboard.
The leaderboard, which we're constantly updating and getting to be better and better now that we have better access to the Riot API. Woo woo. Go Riot. All right. With that said, let's jump into some stuff. Bay, what's new? What's popping? What you've been playing?
A lot of interesting stuff. Mostly playing for. There's like 2 reasons I'm playing right now, and it's content and ladder. So like the same as always. But there's no tournament for me to practice for because I won't be able to play at seasonals. So what I'm trying to do is get ladder like LP to get to worlds, right? For like world stuff. I'm at like 600 right now. But the problem is that I also have to play for content. I have to play on stream. I have to play for YouTube. And the only time I've been able to find since I've been so busy is the time I'm playing for content. So I'm like trying to like try hard my content time, which is so hard.
That's why you've been playing on your main when you're streaming. I was like, what is he doing? Mad lad.
Yep.
We talk about all the time about how that's like you can't do it.
It's really bad. Yeah.
It's crazy.
No one gains LP on stream.
How's it been going for you though?
I have 600 LP. 100 of it thanks to Karma Victor that I played last night.
Karma Victor. Oh yeah. The pile.
Yeah, it's just 3 Will of Ionia, 0 concussive bomb, and I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? And I just like won all my games basically, except like one. Oh my god, I recorded that video. I'll talk about the deck in a second, but like I recorded that video, came home from my volleyball finals, recorded a little bit more, but like I've never been beat so bad in my life than in that volleyball finals. Yeah, game 2 we lost 6-21. Man, it was so bad.
Filthy.
It was like their team is called like Heather in the middles because it's just like one really good setter named Heather, and then like 5 people who played middle blocker because they're all like 6'3" and up. And I'm our middle blocker, and I'm 5'10". I am like, for that game, I was the tallest person on our team.
Yikes!
Yeah, so it was brutal. But yeah, so I got home, finished recording, and then my buddy was like, "Yo, let's play some games and drink." So I was like, "All right, bet. I need a drink or 2." Got a little drunk, and then I did that, like I uploaded it to YouTube. My description for the video, I didn't remember what I typed, so I woke up in the morning.
Oh no!
And I checked YouTube because I always check to see how the video is doing when I wake up. And I woke up and like 7 people said, "Yes, Bay, I do read the description." And I was like, "What did I put?" So I opened it up, and the description of the video is literally blah blah Victor, blah blah Karma, blah blah I love Ionia. Does anybody even read these?
Oh my god! Oh, that's so good. That's probably the best description you could have had, though. That's like the most
I thought it was
interesting
great.
one
Yeah.
possible. That's fantastic.
I would click that video.
I would have loved that. That would be what a nice little surprise for the people.
So that happened. So I've been playing that deck a little bit. Victor felt good. And like the Ionia tools are strong as ever. It's like a bot. It maxes out on bot and Boom Baboon, and it has like a couple Sump Treasures, a couple Zonai Urchins, so it's like really big on that. And you just like chip in some damage. Victor like establishes a board presence, and then if you make it to turn 10, you just like throw 12 points of burn at their face because of karma, right?
Yeah.
That deck was fun.
Karma.
It was karma.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think I said?
I was thinking like Lee Sin for some reason.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah,
yeah, that's a deck.
Victor, and you're like,
I was like,
Victor
that's,
Ionia, yeah.
Victor Ionia, yeah, it's the deck.
Karma. Yeah.
Karma.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah,
That's what I said. I was like,
that's a
wait,
deck.
people are winning with Karma on ladder, and I haven't played it, so I had to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've been playing that. The decks I've been playing the most, though, are like the deck that I call Dark Donger, because I think that's hilarious. It's the Heimerdinger J's Shadow Isles deck, right? With like the Hextech Handler deck.
Yeah, you think it's actually good?
I thought it was quite good. I think people now know what it's doing, so it's like less good.
Yeah.
But I thought it was like insane for a while. I gained a bunch of LP on that. Recently been seeing just a ton of like Feel the Rush and like other stuff. And so I started playing Feel the Mina because I love Feel the Mina.
Well documented.
And yeah, well documented love for Feel the Mina. I cannot in good conscience recommend Feel the Mina to anybody. No matter how much I win with it, I can't recommend it to people. Yeah.
Thank you. Because I remember that season it popped off and I played it a bunch. Now I crushed the ladder too at first, but then like I got the feel for it. And I was like, oh no, but if my opponent hadn't fucked up here, they hadn't fucked up there, or if I hadn't drawn this card here, like I was just done. And then yeah, sure enough, I'd start playing some slightly better players on the ladder. I'm like, nope, they would know what's up. They wouldn't just walk into my Mina and get like blown out or whatever, or tap out, let me Feel the Rush, whatever it was. And I was like, yeah, it's a deck, but like it's got some holes.
I do think She Who Wanders makes the deck like way better. Way better though.
Yeah, She Who Wanders is a huge upgrade to all these Freljord decks. Like any of the Freljord decks, I feel like I don't actually know now because I haven't played them with She Who Wanders, because that's changed a lot of things for sure.
Absolutely. It's so good. It's just like it's like your end game, your Feel the Rush end game, but instead of just like putting two champions on the board, you just like obliterate everything the opponent's doing and everything they have in hand. Have you tried playing like an Aphelios deck against She Who Wanders? It's terrible. Your whole board's gone, your whole hand's gone. You're like,
sucks.
Damn it.
Yeah, when she first hit the scene, I was playing a lot of the ambush decks, and I was just like, ambush, save my guy, get you next turn. And then I stopped playing that deck, and then every single time I just got blown out. I was like, 4 power? 4?
Yeah.
What?
3, 2, 3, 4, 4.
It's not less than 4? Like,
I thought it was 2. I like Pale Cascaded something up to 4 and then got blown out, and I was like, oh. That sucks.
I think I did that too. Speaking of trying to qualify for Worlds, we got a little bit more info just recently from Riot about Worlds. We're still trying to get an exact date, but at least we know it's at the end of the year. And there's going to be 4 seasonals that qualify for it. With one of them I noticed in there being like 5 weeks long. It's a nice little sprint because they have to pack them all in. But some of the stuff we don't know, like one of the really important things, especially for you, because you don't get to play in the first seasonals and you're going to try and get there on ladder points or top 4 or whatever, is that in the last year, it only counted your top 2 finishes for ladder.
Yes.
So there was 6 seasonals last year, and only just the top 2 finishes on the ladder took your points for those, combined them. It was not all 6. This year, though, there's only 4 instead of 6. And so it's like, are they doing it the same? Is it still only your top 2 finishes? Or is it all 4 combined? We don't know. Kind of important information to have, Riot. You know?
I think they don't know. I don't think they know yet.
I mean, that's a pretty easy one to solve, because that's not something like the other things, like the date, that I get, right? It's Riot Games. They got a million things. They can't like double book it on Valorant Worlds or like whatever, TFT, whatever, League, whatever. Arcane 2. They got a lot of stuff coming out. You
Oh,
know,
I can't wait for that. By the way, oh
ooh, Arcane 2. You know what? You know
yeah,
what I'm really waiting for? Just random aside. I want the MMO. I'm like really. I played a little bit of New World, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm ready to get into an MMO, and I want it to be this one. I feel like that'd be like really cool and exciting. Fighting game too,
I'm not an
but like
MMO guy. I can't
I'm
do
not an MMO guy
MMOs.
either, but like I'll get sucked into it for like a month or two or something. I'll go have some fun. And also, I just feel like a lot of people from the community would get into it, and that'd be so fun. Kind of Mastering Runeterra
Yeah.
Guild.
To me, like
I
level
just made
4,
myself
just
more
putting around.
excited. Yeah, exactly.
Hey
Stupid,
guys, got any
stupid
good
Bay.
gear? God, it's this button, Bay. Oh,
Bay, stop dying.
yeah, stop it.
Yes. Anyway, back to worlds and stuff though. That one, is it 2 or is it 4? It's just stuff like this that's like an oversight by them because they don't have a person in charge of like organized play or competitive. That's so easy to say. Just say, is it 2 seasonals or is it 4? It's like it's the same either way practically, but like the people need to know. It's like important. Like I'm
That
kind
would
of
do.
I'm dirtling on the ladder this season, but if I know it counts, I'm gonna try a lot harder.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's a little frustrating, but basically, I'm just gonna have to sit here and try to grind some ladder. Which is tough because the pro tour for Flesh and Blood is on Friday. I fly out Wednesday morning. So yeah, I have to like split my time. I have to like try to grind ladder, but also like try to practice for the pro tour. I don't really know what I'm bringing yet. I've narrowed it
yeah,
down to like 2 decks, but
and like if you knew this season didn't count, you could
I could just not
hypothetically
play.
just not do it and just like try
Yeah.
hard 2 of the other 3 or whatever, or
Yep.
all of the other 3, totally be fine. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that's like, come on guys, like get it together. Like you guys like kind of screwed this stuff up last year and you were supposed to learn from it, and like here we are again.
Yep.
I won't hark on that too much. What
Broadcast back. We get broadcast.
Well, no, we don't get broadcasts. We get broadcast.
Broadcast.
One.
What does that mean? Like just the top 32 or just one seasonal?
Just this seasonal.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. Get a little hopes up. The plan though is to hand it off to community members like us. So that's the plan. Why are you silent?
I don't know. I was waiting
Oh.
for my turn
Oh.
to talk.
Oh, okay. You look shocked. You're like, we're doing seasonals?
You're like, hand it
We
off to
don't know.
community members like us. And I was like,
Oh,
and I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
Just waiting.
That's cool. I thought it was cool. Well, I think it's cool. I don't think it's going to be selective or anything. It's not like, oh, it's us or someone else. Or I think what's going to happen is they're going to have a set of tools together, like how to get, because in seasonals you can't just spectate people, right? It's a security thing. So I think they're going to give you a set of tools to allow you to do that to like a certain amount of people from the community. And frankly, like that's not even like that bad. I think a lot of people from the community do a fantastic job. Absolutely kill it. Put on a really good production. Let's see, what was the other thing? Oh yeah. Okay, on the world's stage and organized play and stuff, I'm kind of excited because I'm like, okay, so they laid it out at least. We got the 4 seasonals. We know when those are. Nice. We're gonna have worlds sometime at the end. We do know that it's going to be the same sort of format, right? The big playoff with like the whatever 64, however many people, down to top 16, and then pods probably down to top 8, and then single elim after, which was really freaking good last year, right?
Awesome.
I'm pretty
Sick.
damn hyped for that. And they did say that they're going to put a bunch of effort and stuff into it. So I assume we're going to get coverage of the top 64 now, which we didn't get last year, which was a huge kind of miss.
That was so sad. That was my best tournament run ever, and it wasn't shown.
Yeah. I mean, at least you streamed it to a bunch of people.
I streamed it, yeah.
Yeah. So that's exciting. But then also, we have the new competitive limited format coming next year. And now because we have all of those things like kind of planned, like we have the rest of the year planned in a limited format coming next year, I feel like it gives them a lot of breathing room. Like they should have time now to like, I guess like I'm always like, oh, they had 7 months to figure out like competitive, but like they're a giant corporation. They move really slow, and there's a million things going on. So like 7 months actually isn't like a whole lot of time. They took a winter break. They took a spring break. So I don't know. The spring break was after. Anyway, so you know what I mean. So I'm kind of hopeful that like this year it seems like they're gonna crush this year. Like there's a lot. Like
This year's been off to a really good start.
Yeah,
After
new cards
like
are coming.
a couple months. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like the limited format, and like it seems like like the trajectory into like next year is looking pretty hot. The new cards are like pretty exciting. So that kind of gives me some hope and some I don't know. I'm optimistic for the rest of the year and for next year, early next year. Okay, sorry, off of Worlds. Was there anything else on Worlds that we like found out about?
I don't think so. Nothing new.
I think that was about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
we're gonna try to make it. Obviously, yeah. Duh.
Yeah.
I might just have to, depending on how it works, I might end up just having to spike a seasonals, which would suck. I mean, spiking seasonals wouldn't suck, but like being forced to like top 4 is a pretty rough spot to be in.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty freaking good at climbing the ladder. Like, I think you'll be okay. All you need is like 2 top 10s, and I think that locks you in, right? Like, you could do that.
That's what it was last time. It was like 2 top 10s, yeah.
Yeah, because I think just the way that the points, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure 2 top 10s, you'd be good. You could do that. Okay, I was gonna say, speaking of some decks, man, I've been, I guess, talking about this for a bit now, but Talia Ziggs just keeps impressing me more and more.
Really
I'm
good
so
deck. Yep.
on that bandwagon, and like you guys and a lot of people everyone was kind of talking about it like last season, and like even maybe the season before. That was like, if this doesn't get touched, it could be a problem. Even yada yada.
I remember I said a big statement of mine was in the Ari Kennen meta. I said when Ari Kennen gets nerfed, Ziggs Talia will be a powerhouse. It would be like a superpower.
Yep. And so I guess the reason I'm bringing up is that I feel like people are talking about it less now that I feel like it's like so good.
It's like under the radar still somehow.
Yeah. It's kind of like because it's old hat, maybe a little bit.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know, but like Ziggs Talia and Pantheon are still probably like the 2 best decks.
Yeah, I cannot play Pantheon for the life of me, even though it's supposed to be the easiest thing ever.
It's so easy.
Can't play, I mean like can't always win with. I don't know. Like I just like I'm like Pantheon, and they're like kill it, and I'm like, well, I didn't draw Yumi, and so like I'm just top decking 2/2s or 3/2s for 2 and shit. And, like I didn't draw Zenith Blade. I don't know.
Well, that's where you went wrong.
Yeah, you can high roll like a mother with the deck, but like I feel like you can low roll pretty hard with it also.
Yeah, it happens, but like that's not. A lot of times, if you don't draw like Zenith, you don't draw Yumi, you don't draw a unit till turn 4, like that's not pilot error. That's just the deck does that sometimes.
Yeah,
but like,
I'm gonna be real though. There's a bunch of pilot error going on too.
That's probably true. Yeah,
for sure. For sure.
That deck's strong. I hate Pantheon, man. It's so annoying now because like the way the deck is built now is like you're so forced into like if you want to beat the deck, you need like Targon tools like Equinox and stuff. And other things, and it's probably still not even enough. Or you need like the Ionia tools, like the wills and the palms and the counter spells.
Yeah, you can kind of like race past it sometimes.
Yeah, but I don't want to play like spiders or pirates or anything. That's not fun. That's not my style.
That's not fun. It's fun for some people.
It's fun for other people. Did you know I've just found out I have 0 mastery points on Quinn? I've literally never played a game of Quinn.
Of Scouts?
Not once.
You've never played Scouts?
I don't think so. Not since mastery points were introduced.
Wow, that's funny. I used to be a big Scouts hater, and I still don't love it. But I used to like hate it. I used to hate the deck just in general. It was always kind of good against the stuff that I wanted to play. It was just annoying as fuck. I didn't understand it. But now I find that I tend to be the one. Like I forgot to submit a lineup for RA, and so Kevin was like, "Okay, you're playing Scouts." And Pantheon, and like what was the other one? Yordle Arms, Fizz Lulu. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I don't know how to play these decks that well. Well, that's not totally true. But like I'm gonna try really hard, pay attention. And I just smashed my opponents 2-0. I don't know. I won 2-0. I don't know if I smashed them. But like for decks that I hadn't put a lot of time into, like they carried me and was just like, yeah, Scouts fucking like, yeah, deck's kind of good. People kind of sleep on it. I'm like kind of thinking about, can you make a Talia Zig Scouts lineup? Is that a thing or no? I think I asked this before and the answer was like not really, but
I don't think
because
so. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you expect to do well? Obviously Pantheon.
Pantheon, Ziggs, Talia, Mono Shrima will do well. I think like Pantheon, Mono Shrima, Ziggs, Talia, ban the best burn deck is like probably the number one lineup right now.
Yeah, and so like why? Why is that lineup so good when like I don't know, all of those decks have like some exploitable weaknesses?
Kind of, but like all of them are so strong that they just kill you sometimes. And you know, if you've ever heard me talk about lineups, you know that's really important to me. It's just like really strong decks. But like there's that, and then they all have a ban they want, right? They want to ban like the aggressive burn deck, which is nice. A cohesive ban strategy is always good. And then there's like just a lot of decks that just don't really deal well with those things. Like Aphelios doesn't deal super well with any of the three decks. Especially like I would think he would do well into Pantheon, but like Cataclysm is so good in Pantheon.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like you stun a
Yeah.
unit and then it still hits you for 10 overwhelm and you're like,
I've like made that mistake so many times. We're like stun your guy, and then they're like bloop.
Cataclysm.
Cataclysm.
You're like, oh.
I'm like, oh yeah, fuck. How do I keep forgetting about that?
Sick. Yeah. So yeah, they're just really goddamn good decks. And you beat like just a lot of the other mid-rangey stuff. But if your opponent also shows up with like mid-range good stuff, you're in such a good spot. There's a lot of mid-range good stuff. And all three of those decks are quite good into control as well. So your weakness is like aggro, which has like what pirates, and you just ban that. You know, you ban that or you ban like Scion or whatever, and you're chilling. Is it exploitable? Yeah, but like every lineup's kind of exploitable. This one just happens to like smash things.
Yeah, that's the thing that everyone forgets when they're making lineups, hey, is that everything's exploitable.
Everything is, yeah.
And so like when you're like, okay, I'm gonna bring this lineup and I'm gonna be really good into Pantheon, it's like, okay, yeah, but now you're bad into like all the mid-range stuff, or like, you know, 50-50 in mid-range and batting into all the aggro or something. Like, you know? And so it's like the overall percentages against the field that like playing three good decks or like three decks like these end up giving you. I will say though, we'll say now though, that people have getting better. People every like, you know, people are getting better and better and better every seasonals. And information, what do you call that? Dissemination? Like the information spread.
I get what you're saying.
People being in the know,
yeah,
is much more so than I think right around that Thresh Nasus TLC seasonals. That's when people started paying attention more. Because before you get a lot of brews, all kinds of brews. People will be on all kinds of nonsense. And now like, yeah, you see that now, but it'll be a lot less. It'll be like one round in 9 or 2 rounds in 9. Whereas before it was like 4 rounds in 9 kind of thing. And you see a lot more people playing, like bringing the good decks and bringing good lineups and targeting the most popular decks and doing it well. Not like, because like, you know, people try to do that and like kind of fuck it up. Like now they're doing it like pretty well.
Yeah, we should stop telling people to bring good decks.
Yeah, that was our bad.
We're doing ourselves a disservice.
Yeah. We've definitely not helped ourselves in that regard. We've helped other people, so like that's nice.
That's good enough, right? That's good enough. Plus, I don't know. I give people a lot of advice that's probably not the greatest at times, and I'm like, this deck is so good, and it's like because I love the deck and I do well with the deck. And other people don't win with it.
I have been one of those people. Hey, Jason, Deep's fantastic right now.
It is. I taught 32 with it. It's not fantastic right now, but like it was really good back then. Yep. So that's why I won't like recommend people feel the meter right now, even though I have like 1 loss and like 15 wins with it on ladder or something. Probably like 2 losses.
Yeah, and that's another like really important thing that like, you know, if someone's really good, they can win with decks that are not really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that like they'll post a deck list and like in a win rate, like an absurd win rate, and I just ignore it because I'm like, yeah, you're just a really good player, of course, right? You're gonna win with anything, like, and so people like jump on it. They're like, what do you think about X and Y deck from X and Y person? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait till someone else wins with this, you know, like you got to prove that A good player winning with a deck does not prove anything.
So, like,
Proves
for instance,
absolutely nothing.
what do you think of like what am I winning with Thresh A Soul? Because like it took a while before anyone else won with it, but then they finally did.
Hmm. I still don't like the deck.
Yeah, hey, even
I
after
think it's
all of
an
his
inherently
success.
like flawed deck, and it has a lot of holes. But he would disagree. But there's like you're very good at dealing with like small things with like whale and like Vile Feast, and you're very good at dealing with big things with your like your like vengeance, ruination, your celestial things. But like there's a sweet spot in the middle where you just can't kill anything like on tempo. Um so like yeah, mid-rangey Demacia decks tend to just destroy you because they're playing Sivir and they're playing like Vanguard Sergeant and Broadwing, and like you can't deal with these cards
Yeah, not cleanly,
at
right?
cost. Exactly. Yeah. Not until you spend 6+ mana for it, and that's just not good enough. So I don't like the deck very much, but the deck is built to do a very specific thing, and it does that very specific thing very well. But yeah, I'm thinking, there's a lot of piles on Twitter that you see. We usually call them piles.
Yeah,
And
'cause
it's
they're a
like, oh
pile of
yeah,
cards.
went 14-2 with this deck on ladder. It's like, that's sick, but like you can go 14-2 with ladder with any deck, man. Like, come on.
Yeah, or sometimes it's like
So
I went 14-2 on ladder, but like, oh, you were in plat, like you were in gold.
that too, yeah. I remember the whole fiasco, the other swim fiasco, the one with Mono Shirima, where he was pushing one version of Mono Shirima that was like so bad, and everyone was like, "This is a bad list." The top players were like, "I don't get it. I think this is bad." And then yeah, it turns out that he was just in plat the whole time, and it was a horrible list.
Yeah, I remember you saying people were coming to your chat being like, "Why are you playing this list and not
Why are you playing
Swim's
this one?
list?"
Not the good one. I'm like, what are you talking about?
And then for like literally a month later, like that list, like
People were still
survived.
playing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you were just like, oh, cool, you're on the bad list.
yeah, free wins.
Yeah.
What do you think about going rogue? Like the advantages that it gives you, though, because like there is something to be said about your opponent. I'm not saying go rogue for rogue's sake, but
Yeah.
there is an advantage that you get from your opponent not knowing how to play your matchups, and like I think that's
That's
one
true.
that one of my has capitalized a lot on from Thresh Acelol. I know when I first played against him, like he's got a bunch of one-ofs. It makes it really
Bunch of
hard.
one-ofs,
Just a bunch of stuns and life steal and like weird stuff here and there, and yeah, it made it really hard to play against the deck. Before I kind of realized what was going on.
It's a thing. It's a benefit. But
Yeah,
like you said, don't go rogue for rogue's sake. If you're bringing a rogue deck, you better have a good reason, and you better be good with it.
yeah, you gotta
Because
be
if
damn
not,
good
like,
with
why
it.
are you playing this? This deck's not tier 1 for a reason, and you're gonna play it without the proper experience. Like, deal, sign me up, right? I'd love to play against you. But if you have, a lot of people have like a pet deck that they put a lot of, I'm thinking like Dresbo. Dresbo's played the same pile for 2 years or whatever, right? Basically, like Ionia PNZ pile. He's only played that, so he's gonna bring it. If he thinks it's well positioned, and he's probably gonna do well with it. Should someone else just pick it up and like play it for seasonals because the matchup spread looks pretty good? Absolutely not. Not if you don't have the practice. Because then you're just like, yeah, your opponent might like misplay and stuff because they don't know how to play against your like 18 one-ofs. But like you're going to misplay because you don't know how to play with it. And I think you're handing more advantage to your opponent than you're gaining.
Yeah, and that goes back to like why I play powerful decks and everything, and like okay. My next question would sort of be like, what about like kind of sidestepping? Like so, for instance, in the plunder seasonals, when plunder was kind of like the best deck, you remember this?
Yeah.
And then it was also like Poppy Zed. I want to say,
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
the
like
other,
a Poppy Rally.
Yeah. So all I remember is I was playing a lot of plunder that season, and I decided not to play plunder. I played 3 other very good decks, including Poppy Rally. And then that was one of the years I was 7-1, and I went to the last round. I went to the last game, and it was my Poppy Zed against their plunder, which is supposed to be like kind of favored, and they just high rolled me and just absolutely destroyed me because like plunder is just a sick deck, and like I just got absolutely worked. and I didn't bring plunder to that season. I was like, I wonder if I would have just like steamrolled people even harder instead. Instead of like not bringing plunder and try to like avoid the plunder hate, which is what I was trying to do. And to be fair, I think maybe I did go up against maybe one or two rounds where people were kind of going after plunder.
But like, just kill them.
But just kill them. Yeah, their decks were not very good, and like I just kind of killed them, and like like I said, I was playing kind of like decks that were supposed to be kind of good against plunder. Like a lot of times that rally deck just went off against plunder, right? But I didn't that time. So
you got worked. That I remember watching.
Oh my god! Oh my god! It was so painful. Yep. It's so painful when they steal your best cards.
They stole your rallies and stuff.
They stole all my. I drew like no champs, and they stole all my rallies. It was so sad.
Yep, it was pretty bad. Yeah. I mean, no, I just always tell people play the best decks. I was saying this in the team call again yesterday, 2 days ago. That I was just like, I want my deck to do like all the heavy lifting, like 70% of the heavy lifting. I want my deck to beat you, and then 30% of the time, I want to carry it the rest of the way, right? But like, why would I play something? And there's so many instances of this where like, I don't know, people want to feel smart or clever or not be that guy who plays the best stuff. So they show up with this deck that like, you got to work for all your wins. And I used to be that guy. You used to be that guy. We were all that guy. Mm-hmm. But then like, I don't want to do that. I want to show up with this thing that just crushes you because it's better than what you're doing. And then if that's not enough, I want to beat you because I'm better than you. I want both of that. Why give up one of those things?
Exactly. Like, you know how I beat the best players in the world at a fucking Magic Grand Prix? My deck was a fucking monster. And then I knew how to play it really fucking well. So when like push came to shove, I like squeaked every last fucking ounce of it I could. But the deck was a fucking animal. So like, had I been playing on like a more even playing field, like if we were playing a mirror or something, like I would have been in trouble. Been so much trouble. But that said, I still can't bring myself to play Pantheon.
Yeah, Pantheon's boring. But like, I would probably play it in seasonals.
So bad with it
if I was playing because it's just so goddamn good. And it's just like, there's a deck that beats its bad matchups, right? Like, Zenith Blade, Yuumi, Cataclysm just beats everything. Like, there's not a deck under the sun that beats that. And so, yeah, just, it's really good. But if you're just like losing a bunch with it, then like don't bring it.
That's obviously kind of the thing. What's another lineup I could play, or other listeners at home, if they don't like Pantheon, or if they don't like one of those three decks that you just mentioned? What are some like close seconds that you would perhaps recommend?
Triple Burn is like pretty good, right? You could do like the Pirates Scion, like a more aggressively slanted like Draven Scion, and then a third deck. Not my style, but I know some people really like that. And there's a lot of Demacia and a lot of Talia Ziggs, a lot of Shurima, so it should be well positioned. But as always, you play Burn, and if you run up against someone who just hates Burn that day, you're screwed. But yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't thought a ton about lineups because like I'm not playing. And lineup construction is something that like doesn't come incredibly easy for me. Lineup construction is something I think a lot about. And it eventually comes to me. It's not something that I just go, oh, XYZ, substitute Y for B, and like that also works. And then this, and then you ban this, and blah 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 blah. Like this is not something I like arrive at lightly. I think about it for like a week. And then that's how I like slowly craft things. And I plug and I play and I theory craft and I test and then I revise my hypothesis and then I try it again. And like that's how I get to my lineups. So
it's unfortunately can't just pull it out of the hat. It's interesting to hear you say that because that's how I've gotten to my best lineups also. It was like mostly theory crafting over time. Kind of like a slowly but surely, not being like, look at the matchup spreadsheet, this deck. Okay, that makes sense as a lineup. Jam it together. No, it's sort of like a massaging of like the lineup. You have to like kind of work things in and out and try different things and see how you feel with different decks. Yeah, it's really interesting to hear you say that.
I've been testing because I feel like people think I make good lineups, but like I'm not. I would not consider myself good at it.
I would say that's your strength. Yeah,
not even a little bit. Yeah. So someone actually asked me, a local asked me, because I've been testing a lot for the Pro Tour, for the Flesh and Blood Pro Tour, and he's been helping me, and he's a very good player, and he also wants to test and like get better and stuff, even if he's not making it to this Pro Tour. But basically he asked, because we were like, okay, we need to test this matchup, and he's like, okay, how do you test? And I was like, all right, well, that's a big question. But basically, I like to go into any testing, right? Now, this isn't playing. This is like testing's different, right? We've established that.
Yeah.
For any testing, I start with, it's basically the scientific method applied to a card game. I start with a hypothesis. I think X beats Y. Let's find out. And then you test it, and then X does beat Y. Okay, new hypothesis. I think if you add Z to Y, it will start to beat X. You test it, right? And then maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Then you revise and you hypothesize, and then you test. Then you revise and you hypothesize and you test. And eventually you come to just a pretty big understanding of how everything works. And then you can narrow it down a bunch, right? Like, I think adding this card to this deck in this specific matchup will help this specific problem. You test that, right? And then it doesn't as much as you want. Okay, well, let's try a different thing, right? And then you can get very specific, you can be very broad. And that's just kind of how I approach it. Because otherwise you're just playing games, which is like cool and all, but like, what are you really accomplishing?
Yeah, and so really interesting there, because I think a lot of people like understand that at some sort of base level, but the thing that they get wrong is that just like in science, you have to be honest, and you have to have actual data. Like if your data is wrong or biased, then your results will be wrong or biased, and I think that's where people go wrong. They'll be like, "Oh, this they're like matchup Y beats matchup X," like 50% of the time. It's like, but does it really? Because like it turns out like you didn't play the deck very well, or your opponent didn't play the deck very well. You just beat up on someone who's never played that deck before. They don't know the ins and outs. So now you're going to go into seasonals being like, yeah, this is a good matchup for me, and it's not going to be, and you're going to get blown the fuck out. You're going to wonder where it all went wrong.
Yep. I was playing a hero named Oldhim in Flesh and Blood. He's very defensive, and he's supposed to be destroying this other top deck named Chain, right? And a couple of the other big meta players. Oldhim was supposed to be a really big counter. Everybody knew this. And I beat quite a few. Like, I beat a couple chains in my first testing session, and then my team built chain slightly differently, and Oldhim could not win. Could not win. But everybody and me was saying that Oldhim was smashing chain. Smashing. And then so we sat there, and it happened, and we called it a fluke, and it happened again, and we said maybe there's something to this, and it happened again, and we sat there, and we went, we were wrong. And like, that's important, right? You can't,
don't make excuses.
You don't make excuses, because you want to say, I got unlucky, you got lucky, right? Or something in your head, right? Or that no one's going to bring that list. No one's going to have these cards, right? Or if I just built my list differently, if I drew in a different order. But like, at some point, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be like, nope, this is like, I was wrong. My hypothesis was not correct. Let's figure something else out.
Yep. Yeah, it's so important to be doing that. And like, that's what I always talk about, the learning mindset, and like, because that's one of the things that goes into it. You can't be biased, and people like want their deck to be good, like, and like, want, or like take some piece of information they learned like a month ago at the beginning of the season and held on to it. And you're like, no, this is set in stone. It's like, no, but the game evolves. How people play the deck evolves. What the deck list is evolves. And so, yeah, you have to constantly be like honest and reevaluating like that.
Yeah. And I had to eat my words.
That's what separates people too, right? That's what you see. That's what separates the pros from like the next level down, is that, I'll see it all the time when people are trying to come up, and they have all these like, I'm like, well, maybe why did you do this? And they're like, oh, because of X, Y, Z. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't really hold water though, because like these reasons. They're like, yeah, but like, some excuse that doesn't make sense or whatever. I'm like,
oh man, that happens so much because I do a lot of coaching, right? And that happens so much where like they'll make a play and I'll be like, I don't think that was correct here because of this, this, and this, and then they defend their play, right? Which is the point. They're supposed to defend their play, but it'll get to a point, and then we discuss, right? And that's how we get better. But it'll get to a point where like the play was clearly wrong. It was clearly not the best line. And that's like, fine, right? Like, we don't always play the best lines all the time. Most of us don't. I don't. But like at some point, you have to be honest with yourself and say your reasoning is not good enough. You made the wrong play, right? You should have done this instead. And that's hard sometimes. It's really hard. I had to eat my words like recently with I remember like Sundisk came out, right? And I was playing Tribeam, and everyone was like, "Hey, Bay, does Tribeam beat Sundisk?" And I was like, "Of course it does. If you can blow up Sundisk on 2." Absolutely not correct. Not even a little bit. But I thought it was correct. But then, I found out over the course of the next day it wasn't, and I was very quick to say I was wrong. It does not beat Sundisk, right? Like, and you have to be okay with that. Because if you hold on to, like you said, if you hold on to those things that you like used to know that used to be right, people are gonna blow by you.
Yes. Yeah, that's what makes it so tough also, right? This is something that actually, I don't think we've touched on very much in Elwar, that became really important in Magic. When you're doing your testing became very important. So like, if you have a 6-month season in Magic, if the testing you're doing the first 2 weeks is like almost worthless compared to the testing you do the last 2 weeks before like a pro tour, because the meta just goes, whoa, just like it fucking turns on its head basically, as everyone just like it eats itself, as in like, hey, this was the best deck 4 weeks in, and now I found a deck that beat that, and then like another one that beat that, and then one that beat those two, and then like back to the original that kind of beats it, and it like becomes this like crazy, like things go like just sideways often. And so any of the data that you had from a month earlier or whatever was just like not the business. It was like leading you astray. And that happens in Runeterra too, but just like to a lesser extent.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay, well, we're hitting like 40 minutes here. Do you have anything else? Any other cool decks that you've been playing?
Cool decks. Let's see. Anything cool that's like jumping out at me? Aphelios has been fun, but its matchup table's kind of weird. What were you gonna say?
Okay, yeah, we'll touch on that too. But I was gonna say, what are your thoughts on Mono Viego? This is like the Shurima Viego deck that's been popping up.
Okay. Mono Viego is strong. It is the Shurima. You play like both the rights. You play like Rite of Negation, Rite of Summoning, and then you play Hourglass. It does what it's supposed to do incredibly well. It finds Viego, it gets him out, and it protects him very, very well. However, and levels him. Yeah. However, the deck doesn't go wide very well, and you can't interact with your opponent's things very well outside of granting stuff vulnerable and your 3 copies of Quicksand. So if the vulnerable doesn't work and you don't have the Quicksand, you lose. And if Viego being on the board isn't enough to stop your opponent from attacking you and dealing a bunch of damage, you lose. So like, while it's very strong, I did not enjoy playing it because I did not feel like it gave me a bunch of avenues to play the game. I felt like I did my one thing. If my opponent didn't particularly care about that one thing, I lost the game. And it's not to say that's a bad deck or anything. I just don't think it was for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I liked it because it plays the
Thresh Nasus kind of style.
Thresh Nasus shell.
Yeah, it's a good deck. You absolutely can play it. Yeah.
What do you think of the other one, the Viego Ionia, like with Kindred?
It's pretty good. It's like one of the only like real Pantheon counters, I think. Especially if you build it with like because you get to like I played like 3 Vengeance and then like 5 bounces and stuns.
Yeah, that's so absurd. That'd be so annoying.
And you have Kindred, and like Viego stuff gets like really big, right? So
there's an interesting one. Imagine you had a Kindred Viego deck. What other 2 would you put with it to like be good into Viego if you wanted to leave into Pantheon? If you want to leave Pantheon up.
I mean, burn. There's 2 burn decks. Burn. Like if your only goal was to beat Pantheon, it'd be 2 burn decks. Is that a cohesive lineup? Not really. Because you have one deck that like excels into control, right? Kindred Viego is like one of the best anti-control decks in the game. And then 2 decks that like can't beat control, right? Like Burn doesn't want to play against control. So the lineup is kind of not great, but
wishy-washy.
Lil wishy-washy, yeah. Could be the start of a very good anti-control lineup though. You could do like Kindred Viego, Thralls, and Mono Shurima.
Kindred Viego, Thralls, Mono Shurima. Yeah. What do you think of? I don't like Thralls.
It's kind of weird though because you would want to ban Pantheon. So
yeah,
Kindred Viego doesn't really work. There's a lot of other decks to beat control.
So to be Pantheon though, you're just going like triple aggro.
Yeah,
That's the
I mean,
way to do it.
if you're showing up to this tournament and you're saying I don't want to lose to Pantheon, you play triple aggro, and guess what? You're still going to lose to Pantheon sometimes.
Yeah, it's not a good time. Yeah. So what about Aphelios? I've heard a lot of things.
It's cool. It's a cool deck. It's fun. I like playing it, except for when I don't get to do my thing. Then it feels really bad. The matchup table is kind of weird. I haven't really figured it out yet. Gonna be honest. I win a lot with the deck, but like, I don't feel incredibly comfortable having it in my tournament lineup. I do think that Floppy Mudkips, I believe it's Floppy Mudkips, like Zoe Aphelios, much more aggressively slanted P and Z list will be a stellar tournament pick that people are not on yet. It's like all in on the Boom Baboons. You have two bots, no Solari Priestess.
Oh yeah, it's been a
It's
while.
aggressive. You get a bunch of damage in, and then you burn people. It's
Is this new, or was he playing this like last season or something?
He was playing it before.
Yeah,
like,
but then I haven't seen it in a while.
But yeah, like when everyone was playing Victor, he was playing something similar to this. But now it's on triple Zoe, and I think like Zoe's a really good card, guys. I don't know why no one's playing Zoe. I know there's not like a deck for Zoe right now, but she's really good.
Zoe's criminally underplayed.
Yeah, makes me sad.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got, I think, for this week. I won't be here next week.
That's right. Yeah. Good luck in
New Jersey.
In New Jersey at the Pro Tour. We rooting for you. Fingers crossed. Is there gonna be live coverage? There must be. First Pro Tour ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, dope. And then
I don't know where it will be, but I'll let you guys know.
I'm sure it'll be Twitch or something. But like, you should also update us on Twitter and stuff. Let us know.
That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. I don't know what channel it will be on. It will be on Twitch.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. We'll be back again next week with a special guest. Who will it be? Tune in, find out. Good luck in seasonals. Oh, no, wait. Never mind. Oh, actually, really quick. Next Friday, right before seasonals, we have another $500 free to enter single elimination tournament starting at 5 p.m. Pacific. So it's like in the evening. Just play some quick single elimination matches, get that seasonal testing in, and we're raising money for kids with cancer for Gaming with Josh. So big thumbs up. See you there. All right. Sign up on masterruneterra.com. Okay, bye.